past midnight, but still here on Radio Dixie 91.3. I appreciate you guys tuning into Radio Dixie. We have a very special about 10-minute interview here on Radio Dixie. I have two very special guests in the studio with me. Charlie Samuels, who is director of Virgin Blacktop, will be performing live in St. George. He'll be at the Red Cliff Theater on Thursday at 7:10 p.m. and Friday at 10:30 a.m. And I have Della Lowe, the marketing director of DocUtah. How are you guys doing today?
We're good.
Great, thanks.
I very much appreciate you guys being in the studio with me today. Now, let's jump right into this. Charlie, this movie, Virgin Blacktop, Life, Death, and Brotherhood in a suburban, New York skateboarding team. Tell me just real quick about the movie.
Well, it's a film spanning 50 years about unity told by boys skating across boundaries to become men. So it's really about all my friends that I met in the late 70s and how we all stayed friends all the way till now, almost 50 years.
That is incredible. Now, my first question is jumping into this. I've seen the trailer and I've watched it a good amount of times, and I have to say it's such a moving trailer. It's a movie that I really want to go see. I'm going to try to go see it this weekend. Probably Friday morning. I'm going to sneak out of class and go see that movie. Hopefully my teacher doesn't know that. But my question is, what inspired you to make the movie such it is? It starts off so kind of fun and warming. It talks about skateboarding, how interesting it is, and the different techniques you can do with it. And it takes such a little bit of a dark turn towards the end of the movie, explaining what has happened after you guys have left the team. Why make the movie such that way?
Well, the main thing is that was one of competing with the Wizard skateboard team was one of the best times of my life. We had no parents telling us what to do, and we were driving all over the place, and our age group was between 8 and 16. We went to contests, skate parks, all that kind of stuff. And what really inspired me making the movie was when I finally got all these crazy guys together in 1994 for a reunion in my apartment in New York City, where, as far as I know, it was the first time a ramp was built inside an apartment in New York City. So, you can imagine how crazy that party was, And so at the time I had a Hi8 video camera, and I thought, I can't be in this party without documenting everything. I'm a documentarian. a photojournalist. It's just in my blood. And so I recorded it, and the whole time I'm recording it, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't know if this is going to come across. There's just too much energy here. How the heck is it going to translate through, video? And then a week later, I looked at the footage, and I thought, you know what? The energy actually comes through. And so at the time, I had a TV show on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network in Manhattan, New York. And I was, editing on my VCR, and I thought, maybe this would make a good half-hour show on my show. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. Didn't somebody shoot some Super 8 footage of us, like way back in the day? Maybe if I add that, it would make it a better show. Lo and behold, I went to these, down attics and storage lockers and basements, and I found this amazing footage, 10 times more footage than I thought I'd find. And then I looked back at the project and I thought, this has got to be longer than a 26-minute show on an edited VCR, And so that's where it really began. And I said, we got to tell the story of one of the happiest times in our lives.
Well, I would have to say I watched as I've said before. I've watched the trailer and it was really moving. So I just want to play it for the people on the air, and let's you guys give me your feedback and let's see what this movie's about.
People wanna know just how old I was when I left home.
People used to watch us and wonder what the hell were we doing.
It wasn't just California that exploded.
We had black, we had white, Hispanics.
I think the oldest was 16 at the time. The youngest was 8?
They're individuals. I think it has a hell of a lot more to do with being able to express yourself and just be real.
Freestyle really spawned so much of modern street skating, so
you know, a lot of that stuff was just, no one had ever done anything like that.
Flipping boards, jumping over each other on this one board and still maintain our sanity.
The music scene in Nyack had a big influence on the Wizards team.
The funk was always with us, because the funk liked to ride close to us.
I mean, for all the contests we went to, I don't think it was ever so much competing in the contest as it was us going as a team. Just the road trips themselves. That stuff, those are memories you'll never forget.
You know, he did something that we all dreamed about doing. That's a hell of a thought, to want something so bad that you'd almost do anything to achieve a goal.
I just wish I would have had a little more time, just a little more time.
Back then, there was no drugs. We wouldn't mess around with none of that mess because we had our skateboards. Until you got older. You
just pretty much feel that everybody's just going to grow up and they're going to die when they're very, very old.
Pain. Pain is the thing that really gets people's attention.
Skateboarding it's a life.
And if it's time well spent, we'll find out at the end. The Q&A.
Virgin Blacktop, it'll be coming out Thursday and Friday. It'll be at the Red Cliff Theaters, Thursday at 7:30 and Friday at 10:30. Della Lowe, I want to bring you in. Why are movies like this important for DocUtah? And why is it important to present these movies out here in Utah?
Well, we always feel that documentary films take you to a place that you might never know, introduce you to people that you would never know, and situations. But the other thing that documentaries do is that they bring us together because they allow us as human beings to understand each other and even to understand that we all have the same fears and joys and pains. And so in that way, we bring us together. So we've just made a pure documentary film festival now in our 9th year because we feel that it's important. And it's certainly important because we're part of Dixie State University, which makes it an educational experience, and all students are allowed to come free from the university as well as high schools and middle schools.
That is really impressive. Charlie, I want to bring you back in here. What to explain this movie, obviously, it's hard to explain just in 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 10 minutes. It would take you a good hour to explain the whole entire movie.
Well, how long do we have here?
We can, however long you guys want. That's up to you guys. One question I do have is, why is it important to tell this story now, and how could it help us, today's generation?
Well, that's a really good question. I think as an artist or a filmmaker or a craftsman, when you embark on a large project that isn't going to be seen by people for a while, you have to project into the future and imagine and hope that you're going to be communicating what is needed in the future. And so, in my case, I started this in '94. I knew there was a story there. And then when I really buckled down and started editing was two years ago. And with my editor, David Coolio, my partner in crime. And so we felt what was going on in the world then. And what we felt is the first and foremost, you want to tell the truth.
Right.
But we felt that the best way to tell the truth is to make it attractive as well. And we felt, both of us are kind of artists, I guess, that there was a division happening, especially, in this country. And so we wanted to stress the unity. And it just so happens that the Wizard skateboard team was all about unity. And so, it sounds trite, but, the United States is stronger when it's unified, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really true in so many ways. And so we must be in, it's probably just luck. We're just in the right place at the right time. And we're very proud of this unity among all these friends and how we're all still friends to this day. And we're in our 50s and we still skate, and half of the Wizards are going to be here. Thursday and Friday, some of my brothers, are going to be here, and not literally brothers, but brother from another mother.
Now, one other question I have is to just dive into the Wizards team. Obviously, this is the main focus point of the whole movie and the story behind this. How did you get into this, and how did this team get started, and how was that journey back then?
Oh, great question. Jamal, who started skateboarding in 1968 with steel wheels, as you'll learn in the movie, he used it because of some psychological reasons. He could have fun by himself because, and he just started loving it just by himself. And even though he was kind of an outcast, because nobody heard of this, nobody knew what it was. It was kind of crazy, but he really enjoyed it. And then slowly but surely, 8 years later, one or two other people started skating, and he, brought them in and taught them stuff and gave them everything he could. And then slowly some other towns and me and other people, eventually like 9 people started practicing down in the park on the Hudson River in Nyack. And Jamal said, well, why don't we form a team? And everybody said, sure, let's do that. And that's really kind of how it began. And if that answers your question.
It totally answers my question. Now, I've looked into some research in this movie. I've seen you guys won a Best Doc Skateboarding, Paris Surf, and Skateboarding Film Festival. You guys were there. And the official selection of San Luis Obispo International Film Festival in 2018. I've also seen, I saw a photo of the picture online, and I saw a couple quotes from some people. Penelope Spears, who's the director of Wayne's World, said, if your film was half of emotion that your trailer conveys, you will have a festival darling on your hands. Evan Fairbanks, the cinematographer, said, a perfectly timed film and the serial message it provides. I was belly laughing, then crying. My question would be is, for such a small film, not like a Marvel movie, not like a DC film, doesn't have a lot of what a big-time movie is, how does it feel to have such a good attraction towards it and getting so much attention from people that may have not heard about this, and now they're hearing about it, now they have to go check it out?
All right. Well, as a filmmaker, or as a photographer, or any kind of, creative craftsman, or craftsperson, you should do what you're doing for yourself and to communicate to other people. But the first thing is you want to do what pleases yourself first, because if other people hate it, then at least you can live with yourself and you don't quit your profession.
Right.
So when it accomplishes both, in a big way, it's incredibly gratifying, because another thing you're doing, a third element as a craftsman, is communicating your ideas and the way you see the world, and hopefully trying to enlighten people, or change people, or all that kind of stuff. So the more people see it, the more the message gets out, and the more the vision is communicated.
I very much appreciate that. Last question I have is, will this movie also be showing in any other films or film festivals throughout the year that maybe some people can't go see it today?
Absolutely.
But there will be other opportunities.
Yeah, well, it'll be at the Mystic Seaport, Connecticut Film Festival. And it'll also be at the Yo-Fi Festival in Yonkers, New York. I think we'll see if there's any more West Coast things, but it'll also be playing in New York City late October. They asked me not to publicize it yet. So 3 East Coast things right now, and there's over a dozen festivals that have yet to give me their answers. So.
Well, definitely, I really want to go see this movie. I probably will see it on Friday. Again, it will be showing at the Red Cliff Theater on Thursday at 7:10 p.m. and then Friday at 10:30. You guys can go see both of those. And thank you guys for being here. I very much appreciate you guys giving me the time and explaining the movie. We got You Won't Worry by Nathaniel Ratliff and Unforgiven by Seven Dutch here on Radio Dixie 91.3.